Hey everyone, thank you for joining me today. I am so excited to welcome our guest, Dr. Bal Pawa. She is a mentor and now a friend. She's also a co-author of my book and a new author of The Mind Body Cure. I'm very excited. Hello, Bal. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Shirley. I'm so happy and excited to be here as always.
I know you as the guru of perimenopause and menopause, but now you are writing about stress. Tell us about that.
Well, I co-founded this clinic 20 years ago, the West Coast Women's Clinic, and it was all for women's hormones. But what became very apparent early on, Shirley, is that a lot of women, their hormones that they think estrogen and progesterone are impacted so profoundly by stress. The hormone of stress is cortisol. So if you think about PMS, PMDD, the terrible mood before your period, or postpartum depression, or depression at menopause, we realize that our hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are very powerful mood and brain modulators, neuromodulators. But they are impacted by cortisol, our stress hormone. So if we don't manage our stress hormone, we're going to have a harder time with our female hormones. That's the big connection.
I know you talk about it in the book, but what has been your journey? What led you here?
Well, I was in general practice for many years. I was busy doing deliveries and obstetrics and a bit of gynecology. So women's health has always been my sort of go-to profession that I love. And I finished delivering a baby one night, and on the way home, I was literally hit by a truck, and that transformed my life completely. And so,
Wow.
as a patient physician, I went through this whole system for 7 years and realized that there are a few things missing. If we just allow this system to work, it's great for intervention, drugs, surgery, but really the ultimate cure for a body lies within us. The father of medicine was Hippocrates, and he said the natural forces within us are the most powerful healers of all disease. And so I'm here to remind people that you have to reclaim your power and reclaim your health when it comes to prevention and mental health. You have to look at your cortisol and your stress reactions.
In your TED Talk, you talk about another aspect of cars, which is the gas pedal and the brake pedal. Can you share insights around that?
We have a nervous system in our brain, and it's like a motor, and it revs up, or you can turn on the brakes. If it's revved up all the time and the gas is on, your cortisol, adrenaline, your stress hormones are on all the time, something's going to happen. The motor seizes up, something happens to your body. You get sick when cortisol and adrenaline are on all the time. So, an easy way to explain the autonomic nervous system is to say it's an engine. You have a gas pedal and a brake pedal. And then I teach people to turn on their brakes, because if you turn on your brakes, that's like rest and repair for your body. But the gas is fight or flight. Fight or flight being on all the time, you get sick, you change your female hormones, you change your immune status. So many things happen to your body on a biological level. But if you turn on the brakes, you actually repair your body. You make serotonin and endorphins and happy hormones. So instead of throwing a pill at every ill, we have to learn to turn on our own internal pharmacy. And that's what I wanted to teach patients. That was my big message, is that you have to take charge and become your own best doctor.
I'm an entrepreneur, as you know. I have workaholic tendencies. I'm a busy mom. I need the messages in this book, but I'd like to know why you think the world needs this book right now, particularly in 2020.
Shirley, this has been a year from hell, literally, because of all the things that have gone wrong, natural disasters, and then COVID, and now the fallout from COVID, the economic fallout. And I speak to women, as you do, every single day, and women are paying a higher price. Have you noticed when you speak to your women, they're working from home, they're trying to tutor their children, supervise their recreation, cook more meals, more laundry. And stress is so pervasive.
Yeah.
And acute stress is fine. Our body's pretty resilient. We can handle acute stress. But when it becomes chronic and excessive, as I said, those hormones wreak havoc with our tissues. So now, more than ever, I think people have to take charge of their health. And my book provides a self-help toolkit. I use the Reframe toolkit, which is a very easy way to, how do I get my body on track? How do I reset? And COVID has provided an opportunity for us. Yes, it's very stressful, but it's also provided us a little space to say, well, what's really important? How do I do self-care? And if we use this opportunity, now is a great time to build your resiliency and build your immune system so that you're more robust.
You are probably going to expand on what reframe means, but do you want to just give us a little teaser?
Well, reframe is an acronym. I want people to look at their health and reframe it, look at it with a different set of lenses. And so reframe, the R is for reset your nervous system. And I go through my TED Talk on how to reset your nervous system. Breathing is one way. E is for exercise. Everyone knows exercise is good for you, but many of you don't know that exercise actually improves your immune system. F is for food and nutrition and your gut, and I talk about the gut-brain connection and the stress hormones. And then A is for assess, becoming aware of your dialogue and assessing, how do you look at the world? And are you full of gratitude or are you full of fear? And M is for mindset. Are you a health mindset or an illness mindset? And over the years, I've learned that many patients walk around with an illness mindset. They're looking for a disaster. Yeah. And of course, the last E is for examine. If your symptoms are severe, you need to go see a doctor.
Do you think that women are ready to make this connection? You know, the connection between anxiety and mindfulness, the connection between extreme fatigue and mindfulness or mind-body cure. Tell us about that.
You know, that's a really good question, Shirley, because a lot of people think their physical symptoms are not related to their stress. I see women complaining about fatigue every single day in my office. Fatigue is a big one. So is heartburn. So is insomnia. But if you look at all these systems in your body, I can trace it back to an excessive, chronic, perpetual wave of cortisol and adrenaline. And when I connect the dots for them, then they go, oh, you're right. You know, I didn't realize that my eczema flares up whenever I have an exam, or when it comes time to pay the bills, or when my relationship is on the rocks, my irritable bowel is worse. So they start connecting the dots. I think that's really important to show people the symptoms are related to their psychology.
And that is a great segue to the very first lesson that you taught me, because we can connect the dots going backwards, but the key message that you taught me is that we are the first generation of women to turn 50 and have 50 more years to plan for. So we need to connect the dots going forward as well when we think about our stress and the future impact it might have, right, on heart health, brain health, bone health.
Sure, longevity and quality of life. I would say it's not enough to live till you're 100, right, Shirley? We want to live with quality. We want to be independent and not sitting in a bed with broken bones or being demented. We want our independence and our health. Women outlive men by a few years, but men have quality. They produce testosterone right till the bitter end. Whereas women, we were disadvantaged biologically. We weren't supposed to live 30 years in menopause. So there are things that you can do to improve your 30 years and give quality back to your quantity.
Just before we go, I have one question that I like to ask all of our guests. If you could tell women one thing that you'd like them to know about controlling chronic stress, what would it be?
One thing, learn about your autonomic nervous system. Therein lies the key. 75 to 90% of the symptoms that show up in a doctor's office are attributed to a dysfunctioning motor. Your gas is on too much. So learn about your autonomic nervous system. That's my big message.